Hey guys, welcome back to Eversoul. In today's video, we're going to be testing out Jiho, giving you my thoughts on her, whether she's worth it, talk about some situations in which you might want to pull for her and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it is still the first day since she's been out, so take this all with a grain of salt. I just like to update you guys on my thoughts as I get them. Now, I've heard really good things about her from a bunch of my friends as well who have been testing her, and I'm going to give you the TLDR of my thoughts so far. I think she is definitely a top tier unit, whether, you know, in a tier list, if you're looking at S or A being the top two tiers, I feel like she's going to fall somewhere in there. I think she's a really good balance between strong sustain in the right situations plus great offensive power. So she's like one of my favorite type of supports. Now, in my previous video where I talked about whether she was worth pulling before she came out, I said that I think to go all in on her, she'd have to be like way beyond the other two primary healers that we have in the game at the moment, which are going to be Catherine and Talia. Now, I think she's just different, and I've been using all three of these in different situations along the way. Now, we're going to go into some testing and I'll show you the way that I think she works well. We'll take a look at her skills in depth and all that stuff. But in general, I feel like she's a great unit to have a copy of. If you're free to play, she's a great one to pull a copy of. I got lucky and got one from a memory that I pulled, which is just super lucky. As for whether you want to go ahead and pull for her, me personally, I don't want to pull for any more copies. I've got one that's good enough for me. As you can see, my heroes, I mean, just into chapter 11, all my heroes are epic or epic plus. I'm going to start building some up to legendary. And even though she is absolutely fantastic, I already have 3 copies of Catherine and 3 copies of Talia. And I don't want to have another hero to go deep investment on, and I'm waiting for more of a damage dealing carry type unit that's really going to impact my team heavily on one of these banners, which could be the next undead chick. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm waiting for a unit that where duping them up is really going to impact me because they get all the offensive pressure as well. Yes, she would get extra healing support, but I still think she works perfectly viable at 1 copy. Now, the other thing is, if you do want 1 copy, there is no guarantee until 80 summons, so you do have to invest a lot if you want to, so it is a gamble up to you. But in general, for most free-to-play players at this stage, I would say 1 copy is all you need, whether you want to test your luck and try and get her on summons. I did it on my other account. I went to 40. I got her plus 2 other epics in 40 pulls, and I'm just holding on to the 10 tickets on my other account for the next time round. So once again, it's up to you, but I think 1 copy is enough for free-to-play. Wales, I'll let you make your decision. I think she's pretty fantastic, but let's jump in and look at her skills, and then I'll take her into some testing and show you why I really do like her, and I've been using her in my teams. She helped me push through the rest of chapter 10, and I'm absolutely loving her. Chapter 10, and I'm still in my 5th day of play. I think we just ticked over into calendar day 6 on this account. So let's go take a look at Jiho herself and talk about her. So when we look at her skills, so her main skill, she's basically going to heal a single ally, increases speed by 40% for 15 seconds, and recovers the HP of 1 ally with the lowest HP by 380% of attack. If the target cannot recover HP due to debuff effect, Jiho will cast a barrier that absorbs damage. Now, I don't think there is a complete heal block in the game yet, but maybe this is future-proofing, because when I have heal reduction on, she still does the heal. So that's just what I've noticed so far. And then we just get the increases to the speed, the recovery, and the damage absorption on that one. But what I love about this main skill is it's a really good chunky heal. So in situations where, you know, maybe you've got like a Claire up front, I also use Angel up front. If one of them's getting low, often what she can do is if Claire's the lowest, Chloe, because I'm still using Chloe. If Chloe's the lowest, she can sometimes heal Chloe and prevent her from triggering her passive, which means then Chloe lasts longer before she triggers her passive, which basically gives her another life, and it just really allows you to sustain the battle really well. So in certain situations, this ability is so much better than something like a Talia, because this is instant gratification for the unit that really needs it, which is normally a tank that's about to die, whereas using a Talia, it's more slow over time, and that tank is still going to die. So in certain situations, this definitely excels over having Talia. Next, we have the sub skill. Plays music, removes one debuff from all allies, which is really nice. I actually do enjoy using her and Talia in the same team sometimes. It keeps you really well cleansed and everything. But removes one debuff effect from all allies and restores HP over time equal to 50% of Jiho's attack every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. So this is a nice cleanse with heal over time. Honestly, it's not the craziest heal, but it is still something, and the cleanse can sometimes be clutch depending on the RNG of when this falls compared to the team you're fighting and what debuffs they apply and when they apply them. Then the sub skill deals damage equal to 60% of attack and decreases the speed of the nearest enemy by 16% for 6 seconds in a 4 meter long yada yada yada. This is really nice. What I found, because I use Adrienne, and she drags an enemy in, a threatening enemy, and then we can put this on them. It's actually really, really solid, but it is a nice speed slow. Just giving your team some, she's giving your team speed, but also buying your team time, which I really like. Then we have the passive, Jiho, targets cannot evade Jiho's attacks, and then their speed is reduced. So that is the other one. Now, the thing I want to look at is her ultimate as well, because this ultimate is pretty clutch as well. Plays a piece of music, recovers the HP of all allies by 250% of attack, which is a good chunky instant heal, and increases their speed by 25% for 10 seconds. Obviously goes up and goes up again down here. But this is a fantastic one to use because not only is it a good chunky heal, but it actually keeps the offensive pressure. So if you're getting low as you're coming up to your first ultimate, instead of using whatever else you might use, for me, it's normally going to be my Naya to sleep the enemy team. I found that using this to get everyone like topped up and safe is really nice because it's a good chunky heal. But then on top of that, we're getting that speed increase, which means we keep the offensive pressure going. So it's a really nice balanced approach. Now, the other thing that we've got to look at is also going to be over here in Keepsakes is her artifact, which is actually really quite nice. I hate the way that you have to look at artifacts here, but this one is going to be really valuable as you upgrade it. Because as you can see, at base, increases crit rate by 5% for 14 seconds. With Song of Eternity, which is this one. Now, the really cool thing about this is I've checked it when I use it. The downtime is like 2 to 3 seconds. So you pretty much almost got perma uptime of this, provided she's not under CC when it ends and she doesn't get it up. So it's like very, very minimal downtime. And as you can see, once you scale this up, I feel this makes just her an absolute weapon. Because of that 25% extra crit rate on your team is going to be absolutely fantastic. And like I said, it's a really high uptime. I can see really good synergies happening between her and Nicole because Nicole increases crit damage. Also with Mephi because she further increases the crit rate, the crits on enemies as well. There's just a lot of good synergies. And I think this is going to be very, very valuable later on in the game once we start getting more upgrades and, we get further on in the game and you just generally progress artifacts further. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. So that is another one to take. So like I said, in general, I think she's just, in different situations, she's going to excel past Catherine and Talia. In certain situations, those will excel past them. But because she's a human, it's really nice that she does have the synergy with Catherine, meaning you can bring these two into a team as your support core, and then you can bring 3 of another faction and away you go. On top of that, it gives you a really good 3 core for humans with Claire, who becomes very relevant later on because of her tankiness. And you can bring these 3 as your tanky and supportive core. And then you can just bring 2 DPS from the other factions that you've built up and maybe units that you've ascended because, you're not going to have all food for the same ones. But say if you upgrade a Claire and get her ascended, then you leave these 2 at Epic. And then you grab an ascended, an ascended fairy and an ascended undead that are both DPS type units. That is a really good way to balance out the fodder that you've got across the different factions and bring together one team. So I really like her. I think she's great. Like I said, 1 copy. Me personally, I wouldn't go all in on her yet unless you're a whale, just because I feel like going all in on dupes is you want to get like a main DPS that you're doing that for. So, and then obviously a lot of people at the moment are using Naya as main DPS. You can get a bunch of copies of her from the event, which is very helpful for that. And I do believe that Naya will eventually get phased out as a main DPS. She will always continue to be a good support CC unit, but I feel like we will eventually get better DPS units that overtake in the damage portion of the game, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's jump over and take a look at Jiho in action. Actually, I'm pretty stuck here I got to do a workaround in campaign. We're currently at a decent little deficit. We're at about 1.5x deficit on these in-between stages. It's about a 1.7x deficit over there on the every 5th stage. So this one I'm just having some tricky troubles with. Just ignore me. So we're going to jump over into the tower and see what we can do. Let's see if we can load it. Yep. Okay, let's go to unlimited gate. So let's see what our deficit is here. So the deficit isn't too big. We can demonstrate her. So as you can see, this is a team I've been using. I really love the haste increase by using her with Vivian. But also something else I often do is going to be this. Now, the thing I like about this team using double tank, double support, and then single DPS is that with this, these are both offensive healers. So even though we're doing very defensive looking team, it gives us a high amount of sustain, but as long as the enemy team doesn't have like, you know, a Claire with an additional healer or something like that, we're pretty much fine to do it like this. It's just a bit slower, but like I said, we'll jump in and do this. You got 2 offensive, we got the attack buff and the energy regen coming from the Talia, and then we've got the speed and only 5% crit at the moment from the Jiho, but it's really solid. Then we've got our 2 tanky units. As you can see, we're going to get low. We're going to actually proc this one. Okay, we've already procced with her, so it kind of makes me want to put it on manual and wait for my angel to get lower. So hopefully she heals my angel here. Yeah, so she's going to heal my angel right here. So this is going to work pretty well for me. Unless she heals Talia, which I don't think she will. Oh no, she's going to actually... Okay, we're going to actually... Who are we going to get this on? The one thing I've noticed with Jiho is she is a little bit slow. But as you can see, in this type of situation, like I can do something like this. I didn't need to, but we can do that. So it gets us all topped off, and then it gives us that speed increase, which is really helpful for continuing to bring the pressure. Now, we are probably going to lose you here. Let's see how we go. But here comes that single heal once again. A nice chunky heal. Look at that. Really nice chunky heal. Most of the other healers in the game, besides maybe something like a the undead one, I always forget her name, Prim. Like, unless you've got a Prim or something, normally your tank is going to die in that situation. Once again, I'm just going to do this just to show you. And there we go, big chunky heals, but we keep a little bit of offensive pressure, and we can just sort of keep cycling through that to try and get there. There we go, another big chunky heal. Like I said, her heal is fantastic, and when you've got the speed increase and then the energy regeneration that comes from Talia, you can really cycle through those main skills really fast and keep things flowing. But we're just going to go in for some damage here, put the sleeps on, and actually get done with the job because we want to get done with it. But that's what I'm talking about. You can see the impact of that heal, which is actually really, really chunky. Now, if you've got a bunch of Origin heroes and you've got her only at like Epic, you'll notice that it starts to fall off in the healing capacity just because it's based on her stats. But once again, here's that clutch little heal. Not too bad at all. We're just going to go to sleep again. We'll just play this super offensive, see if we can just clean it up. We should be fine now. But yeah, like I said, her heal, like it's just a nice balance. I really do like it. Oh, dude, we got timed. I spent too much time using her heal. So, like I said, probably was doing that a bit too much just to show you guys. But as you can see from when you use it, it's a really nice heal. Now, what I actually want to do in this one is slow it down. Let's slow it down. And I want to show you the buff. So look on top of Jiho's head over here. So she's going to play her song. We're going to get that crit buff. This one here is the crit buff. If I pause it, you can see which one the crit buff is. It is going to be this one down here. The crit increased by 5%. Now, obviously, it's nothing crazy at the moment because it's only a little buff. But when you get her maxed down, that's 25%. That's really nice. But what I want you guys to watch for is the uptime of it. So watch her. Just watch Jiho herself. And we'll just have a look. And see if you can see it. So it's still there. It's still there. It takes a while when you've got it on 1x speed. But when's it going to drop? It's about to drop here. I think. No, we still got like 2 seconds, I think. All right, let's just... Dude, it's so slow. Now, Talia, please heal me. Talia, let's get these debuffs off, please. Okay, it dropped off now. It's dropping off right after we come out of this, which is now at 105. So at 105 it dropped off. So let's pay attention to when it comes back on. Where is it? Where is it? Here she goes. She's about to play. I think it's because I used her main skill in between. It threw off her attack order. But let's go see. and it's back up. So that was actually a 5-second downtime, but I believe it's because I used her main skill in between, which throws off the order. But in general, it's normally like 3 seconds, but anywhere from 2 to 5 seconds is quite reasonable when you got a 14-second duration buff. It's really, really solid. And as you could see, all my other units actually used their main skills before it actually ran out. It's just that Jiho's a little bit slow on her main skill generation because she's not in the front row. She's not taking damage, anything like that. But I think it's incredibly solid, the capabilities that she has based on that. And it's a really solid uptime, but that won't take massive effect until later on when we get high level artifacts, just because at the moment it's only a 5% increase. Like, who really cares? And it's not really changing the world. But in general, it is still pretty solid. So let's just put this speed up and let's clap this stage, and then we can bounce out. But let's go ahead and we'll take a look at the healing as well, comparing her to the healing that's done by Talia, because neither of them used an ult. So we can get a feel of the impact that both of them had. They're similarly built. I think Talia has the better gear actually. So let's just have a look and see where it ends up. But like I said, if you need a clutch heal, the great thing about her healing is that it also gives you a little bit of offensive pressure as well. It lets you generate those main skills faster and stuff like that. So look at that. Even got the victory animation from it. Oh, it's cute. I haven't seen that. I haven't paid attention to it yet. Look at the photo. Oh. But let's take a look at the healing. And as you can see there, Jiho with a really solid amount of healing compared to what Natalia did, even compared to what Adrienne did. So, you know, that's basically what we're looking at the moment. She does have a lot of healing capacity plus some offensive capacity. I think she's really good at this stage of the game, and I think she's just going to get better later on. But once again, for free-to-play players, I would recommend waiting for more of a DPS type unit. Try and get 1 copy maybe, but just keep in mind you might go to 80 before you get it. So it's a gamble you've got to take. I personally, until I pulled her from the memory, I was not going to pull for her. I pulled for her on my other account to test her, and I was just lucky to get her. So I'm happy I've got 1 copy. I think she's going to be very good. If you get dupes, happy days. Like, it's not a bad dupe. It's just one that I would save. If you're saving gems, I would keep saving for another unit. But that's just me. Once again, saving gems does slow your progression a little bit because you're not getting the fodder and stuff like that. So once again, make your own call. But me personally, I am saving for the next undead chick to see how good she is and hopefully be a new main DPS carry for me, and then I can get a heap of dupes. But I think that's just about it. I'm going to shut up now. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.